Hey there, welcome to the Fairway Mid-Atlantic YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about home trends for 2021. Not your paint colors or the hottest decor style that you should be trying out, but what we think you should expect in the housing market in 2021. Before we get started, let us know in the comments down below whether you're planning on buying a house in 2021. And then don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our other videos about the housing market, mortgage advice, and more. Let's get going. So after 2020, a lot of things have changed. The way that we look for homes, what we want in a home, where we want to live, and the technology that we use has shaped our lives in a completely different way. While last year was a whirlwind of highs and lows, we think 2021 will level out and be a little more steady for us. So let's recap what happened in 2020, and then we'll talk about where we think we're going in 2021. So first things first, we all know what happened in 2020, right? COVID-19 wrecked everything. It shut down businesses, it worsened our economy, and threw us all for a loop. Now, COVID-19 halted our lives for what we thought was going to be 2 weeks. How naive were we? But ultimately, that shutdown lasted several months. It's actually still happening in much of the country. It led to abrupt business closures, the worst unemployment rates in history, and a crazy housing market. So in response to that in 2020, mortgage rates went haywire. We hit a record low in our mortgage rates 16 times in 2020. That's insane. The housing market is one of the biggest players in our economy, and when things go wrong, big lending institutions like mortgages, auto, school loans, things like that, do everything in their power to make it more affordable for their consumers to keep up with their payments so that everything doesn't come tumbling down. And that's exactly what happened. The lower rates helped people refinance their current homes and make their payments a little more affordable, and also encouraged new buyers to jump into the market and afford homes that they maybe couldn't have prior to the pandemic. You also saw, for example, lower interest rates on student loans and car loans, all to make it easier for the consumer to keep up in this state of panic. All that to say, the housing industry actually had one of its most successful years in 2020. Another thing in 2020, everybody was migrating. When COVID-19 hit, everybody was worried about their family members and wanted to get back home. You saw a lot of people moving out of cities and back to suburban and rural areas. And that's a trend that we continue to see and think will impact the housing future this year. Along with the want to be close to family members was the transition to working from home. And people migrated out of cities when they no longer needed to go back to their offices. So all of that combined caused a huge shift in where we're actually living. And then lastly, in order for everybody to continue on as close to business as usual as they could, we needed to adopt a lot more technology. But technology also influenced the way that we do business in the housing industry and the way that you may be looking for homes now. So while 2020 was crazy and absolutely had a lot of ups and downs, it's actually shaped the way that we're thinking about the future. It more than likely will impact the way that you think about what you want in a home, how you're going to look for a home, and what that process will look like for you. So let's get into what we predict in 2021 in terms of the housing market. So let's talk about the housing market. In general, experts are predicting that 2021 will continue to be a strong year for housing. Although home prices continue to rise, experts at Realtor.com and the National Association of Realtors predict that rates will only rise up to about 3%. That's still a pretty low mortgage rate. Predict that rates will stay low and cap out at around 3% by the end of 2021. We will also continue to experience a seller's market with inventory predicted to steadily increase by the end of the year, giving a little more relief to buyers. We have a whole video on how to be a competitive buyer in a seller's market and exactly what a seller's market is. That will pop right here. But what you need to know about a seller's market is that it sounds exactly what it is. It doesn't mean that you can't compete or that it's a bad market to buy in. It just means that sellers have a little more leverage because inventory is low and the demand is very high. For more information on the home buying process, we have a whole playlist of videos all about it and how to get started and exactly what steps to take that will also link down below. So if you're still on the fence about buying a home in 2021, be a little reassured by the fact that the housing industry is still pretty steady, rates will continue to stay pretty low, and we're always here to help, of course. So another thing 2020 did was change the way that we live, right? We have spent more time at home than we likely ever had. I mean, I'm filming this in my home, not in an office. We are working from home, teaching kids from home, going to the gym, eating at home all the time. So many things are just happening at home. So what does that mean about what you should consider when you go to buy your first home or your next home? Well, after 2020, the most desired home features that buyers are looking for right now is more space in general, extra rooms for a home office or a home gym, natural light, and extra backyard space or access to the outdoors. Having that extra space to dedicate to work or school or being able to get outside and breathe in some fresh air is really important, especially if we're going to continue to be in a state of staying at home through the end of 2021. And then migration. Like we said before, a lot of people moved from cities to suburban and rural areas in fear of the pandemic. They wanted to be close to loved ones, they wanted to get out of the close quarters of maybe living in a city area where they had to take public transportation and live in apartment buildings, and wanted to escape that easy transmission. So consider what you now value in a home, or what you think you want in your future home. So maybe after 2020, you find that you really actually enjoy that midday walk that you've been taking around your neighborhood every so often. Or maybe you find that you need the outdoor space and the greenery, and if you don't have that, you don't function very well. And probably most importantly, you're getting a lot more space for your money in a suburban or rural area than you are in a city. While this shift to suburban and rural areas was forced, we still think that it will be a trend in 2021 that people will be moving further away from city centers. But we can expect to see a revitalization in cities towards the end of 2021 when things start to go back to normal. And lastly, we're going to talk about technology. The force to move all of our activities home has forced us to find technological solutions to keep the things that we enjoy doing every day. To keep us working, going to school, getting some exercise in, and so much more. So we all know that Zoom is a part of our everyday lives. Kids are learning online, we're working from home, and workout classes on demand have taken over. All of this technology can be dizzying, but we think it's for the better. In terms of the housing market, this shift into using more technology has actually been a huge improvement on the processes that we had before COVID-19. The housing industry is very much stuck in its ways. And while it's totally fine and the processes that they have completely work, it's been so important for companies to find innovative solutions to use technology to help their consumers during this time. So one of those ways has been virtual home tours. They're really great. Now, while touring a home virtually can never replace the experience of looking at homes in person with your realtor, asking questions, and seeing the actual house, they can play a role in your home buying process. We think that in 2021, you should utilize the virtual home tours and the 3D models that are now available for most homes. This can help you in narrowing your home search before you take the step to go and look at homes in person. So maybe it'll help you gather your ideas about what you like, what you want, and what you need in a home. And then once you take those virtual tours and look at 3D models, you can narrow your list of actual homes you're considering and pick about 3 that you want to go and actually tour. Now, on the financing side, there's been a lot of changes too. And we think this shift in the industry is much needed. Before COVID-19, there were still a lot of people in the industry who relied on hard copies and paper and wanted little to do with the technology, just because that's how it worked. But COVID-19 forced us to go online. Now, most lenders and companies are providing online experiences for their buyers to complete their entire mortgage process online. That means you can apply for a pre-approval online, you can submit all of your documents online, and you can even e-close on your home online. Now, while all of these systems may not be completely perfect right now, they are a step in the right direction, and we predict that 2021 will continue to see a lot of improvements in those systems and help buyers feel more comfortable with the home buying process. So this is what we predict for 2021. a strong housing market, steady inventory increase, low mortgage rates, different buyer priorities in the homes that they're looking for, and more technology that makes the process easier for everybody involved. We hope that you enjoyed this video and found it illuminating or motivating if you're starting your home buying journey. If you have any more questions about the home buying process or just want more information, head to our channel, watch our videos. We have a whole series on the home buying process step by step, or head to our website at fairwaymidatlantic.com to find more information about loan programs or to speak to a loan officer. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and we'll see you next time.